This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
We also want to play a clip from that same weekend, August 2nd. This is a localized promo from Pro, which was the syndicated show for Jim Crockett Promotions. Take a listen.
He Rhodes, the world champion, defends against Nature Boy Ric Flair, the former champion. Here's the world TV champion Arn Anderson defending against Magnum TA in Raleigh.
Tony, to your knowledge, has there ever been a tie in professional wrestling?
Tie?
A tie.
There's been a couple draws.
I'm talking about a tie.
No ties.
No ties. Okay, where the World Television Championship is determined, I do not have to beat you, Magnum. You have to beat me, and you have to beat me in a 20-minute time period. Now, on paper, this matchup would seem 50-50, fair. Even Steven, you couldn't call the shot. But the bottom line is I'm living with a little bit of an advantage here, because in those encounters with Nikita Koloff, you've been softened up just a little bit. And also, when you're lacing those boots up good and tight, I think you're going to be thinking about that fateful night in Atlanta, Georgia, when I was on top of you, scrubbing your face in the carpet. That's got to get you just a little PO'd, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you'll go off just a little bit early, lose your cool. When you do that, that's when I slip in for the victory. You're coming for my meal ticket in the Dorton Arena.
World Tag Team title match is the midnight.
So there you go. It's even promoting Wednesday, August 13th, 8:15 p.m., Dorton Arena, Raleigh, North Carolina. For tickets, the box office opens at 12 noon. And then they give the phone number where you can call and order tickets, I suppose. But I like that, man. You know, you sort of turn the tables in the promo to where you're saying, hey, I have the advantage. I don't have to beat you. You have to beat me if you want this. And you've got to do it in a certain amount of time. It feels like you're getting your feet under you as television champion when it comes to these promos.
Well, it was a very real thing. I didn't have to beat anybody. All I had to do was survive the time limit. And that made for a very exciting, when you had a couple of guys that had a pretty decent gas tank on them, that last 3 or 4 minutes, you could make very, very exciting. With me getting false finish. That's got to be it. But man, at the end of a 20-minute match with a guy like Magnum, who's young and in shape and good cardio, it was a challenge. And I loved challenges back then. It made for a very exciting scenario that you couldn't get with any other title match. It was just the TV title that those steps were on, which made it special.
The best of 7 series is the other highlight through this whole process of the Great American Bash Tour. And then we even get to a spot here on that same show where Magnum gets to tie it up 3-3 when he pins Nikita. Of course, we know this is August. In October, the world changes for Jim Crockett Promotions and specifically Magnum TA. But the best of 7 series is still talked about to this day as one of the boys. What'd you think of what these guys were doing? I mean, main eventing in a best of 7 concept. That's pretty fun to think about.
Loved it. Because I knew it was going to make them think, be creative. Let me tell you that, you know, those 2 guys slugged it out pretty good in there. They're not a couple of artistes. There's no Ricky Steamboat in that picture. These guys were knocking the piss out of each other. And that kind of stuff appeals to the performer in me, you know, and as long as guys aren't dropping each other on their head and risking getting, you know, crippled or anything like that, I like a good solid match. And those guys, that's what it was on the card. It was a fist fight. And it was at that time, Nikita was one hell of a physical specimen, you know, probably 280 pounds. I don't know, big traps, you know, jacked. Magnum, physical specimen, same thing. And what those guys lacked in seasoning at that time, they just brought it in physicality.
You get your turn at physicality August 11th, Greenville, South Carolina. You're in singles action against Magnum TA. The next day you're in Spartanburg and you're working on top. It's going to be Magnum TA, Ricky and Robert taking on Tully, Arn, and Ole in an elimination match. On the 13th, you're back at the Dorton Arena. You're going to be working to a draw with Magnum TA. On the 15th, it's going to be Dusty, Magnum, Ricky, and Robert on one side, and the Horsemen on the other. This doesn't happen a lot because we know that, unfortunately, Magnum's accident is going to change everything. But let's just talk about that for a moment. Dusty, Magnum, Ricky, and Robert against the Four Horsemen. Rick, Arn, Ole, Tully. Is this peak Jim Crockett Promotions here, do you think?
I can't imagine anything being more exciting than that match.
Yeah.
And breaking it down, because I'm sure we broke it down and took each one of those guys and turned them into superstars individually. And that was our formula. Get them in one at a time. Let the audience know that there was no runts in the bunch. These guys were all on equal footing, and their styles were so different. You know, it was important to know what each guy did and how to go in there and make the most out of whichever one was in the ring at the time you were in the ring. It was a lot of thought went into it. You know, I got to figure that crowd had to be insane. You had something for everybody in there between Dusty and Magnum and the rock and roll. It had to be awesome.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.